I think you fixed it. Come on out and show the camera. Here comes Abby out of the bathroom, and it's the day after the first day of spring, and Abby's wearing a spring hat. Twirl around for us, Abby. Oh, it's beautiful.
I was dressed by my mother until the age of 5. Then one day, I turned to her and said, "Things have to change." From then on, I started dressing myself. Since then, there have been splendid moments for me in which I have done quite the ensemble.
You need a belt for what, honey?
To put on.
Although I have definitely had my share of faulty fashion moments, growing older and wiser has aided in the process. Although I have made quite the statement as a young girl, my stylistic tendencies have developed immensely. With only some experience under my belt as a budding fashionista, I began to recognize my personal style and discover how to develop it.
Abigail Bell Dyken.
In high school, I was acknowledged frequently for my unique taste in clothing.
Will Jacobs escorting Abby Dykens.
My peers would constantly inquire, "Where did you get that?" Give me compliments such as, "How are you so put together?" This kind of feedback guided me and allowed me to discover and define my inner personal style. Since my first day at Mount Holyoke, my friends constantly raided my closet for things to wear on the weekends. My friend Caroline has in fact dubbed me the fashion queen, and is convinced that I will own my own vintage boutique one day. But they don't even know where I find all this great stuff. But you might be surprised to find out where the stuff comes from. Here are several examples of ensembles I have put together. They include both items I have purchased from thrift stores as well as items at retail price. I know that I have a great eye for things of value and things that would look good on me and things that are just utterly beautiful as pieces of clothing. To me, fashion is art. It just is. It's taken me a really long time to develop my style, and I still don't even know really how to define it, but it's definitely eclectic and based on my mood.
I love my closet.
Being able to walk into a space with so many vibrant and colorful things and one-of-a-kind pieces is truly a dream come true. Thrift store shopping has become a large part of my fashion identity. Overflowing with items typically costing less than $3, I have honed my rummaging talent while applying my mother's expertise.
Is that too small, Auntie?
No, that looks good.
Is it, gosh. 3 to 6 months.
What I find so interesting about thrift stores, yard sales, and vintage stores is the notion that they're one-of-a-kind pieces.
Did you see the dress back?
Yeah.
It's too small.
Yeah.
Okay, so these were $1 each. Okay. And this is 2. Is that it?
My mother has been one of the biggest influences in my life concerning shopping. Her creativity is what has impacted me the most. As a freelance artist, her eye was something genetic, for it has been generously passed down to me. From a young age, I was introduced to a world of yard sales, a weekly event that consisted of confusing directions, mothers overdosed on caffeine, and a van brimming with trinkets galore.
This looks really easy.
This looks easy?
Yeah, 6A, and then you do a slight left at High Street and you turn right at Williams Path.
All right.
And keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. And there's no telling who it's naming. But the loser now will be later to win. For the times they are changing.
This event occurred every Saturday, and it was something my mother took pride in sharing with me.
Pretty wood, don't you think? Don't you think so, Abby? Yeah. Would those be pretty at our table? Change the cushions, though.
Well, that's easy though.
Or you could paint them, like the woman.
Well, I wouldn't paint them because that's beautiful wood. But you just unscrew the cushion and put your own fabric on it. That's pretty cool. Thank you. Come along, Abby. That's not my poor daughter.
Yay for the chairs.
I think they're beautiful.
My mom had.
Her bargain hunting skills have been graciously passed down to me.
Abby's fine.
With her skills in mind, it has been a challenge for me to shop without wanting to discover the best deal possible. I am an extremely creative person. I have always been that way, thanks to my mother. And with that said, fashion is an expressive tool. It's one that elicits so much pleasure for me, and I honestly can't say what I would do if I didn't have that outlet or that one thing that in my daily routine that provided so much joy for me. Not only is dressing my creative outlet, but my closet itself is therapeutic. I love going into it and just standing there. It relaxes me. I don't know why. I just take pride in the things that I have found, and it's just so much fun to walk in there and be like, I'm gonna wear that today just because I can. It's something that I love, and I can't help it. I truly cannot help being in love with fashion and clothes. I can't. Not only has my mother been a large influence in regards to my interest and eye for fashion. The
fashion industry itself has also impacted me immensely. The fashion industry
with its main
is
ports
one of
in
the
New York
largest
City,
businesses
Paris,
in the world.
Milan, Tokyo, and Los Angeles, its frequently changing trends, styles, and designer collections are constantly varying. Although my perspective of how to shop differs, I will still apply the glamour dues to my shopping techniques.
This is my favorite part. These jackets are always color coordinated.
Although I don't necessarily use what's considered trendy at the moment, I can't admit that I don't apply them or that they don't have a strong impact on me when I do shop. Street style is one of the largest influences and inspirations within the fashion industry. Seeing both men and women roaming the streets with effortless style, I find it more inspiring than the designers themselves. Yes, the designers construct things and they come out with new collections every spring and fall, but the way that you take those pieces, the way that you work with them.
It's definitely the person that is able to create the look. I find that I can have the best of both worlds.
These jeans are from the Salvation Army on 86th Street, and they're actually women's jeans, and I cut them into jorts. And these boots are vintage as well.
Although I don't have access to what's featured in magazines such as Vogue, I can take it into my own hands.
This is actually vintage. I got it out of a thrift store for $2.
Like the assortment of sartorialists who stroll the city streets, I am inspired in their agency and what they wear.
Being able to walk the streets of New York City and see somebody that is wearing something that you would wear on an average day, there isn't a bigger influence for me. It's so self-gratifying to see people walk around and wear things that you wish you had or you wish that you know that you would wear. It's just such great inspiration.
Shoes, I haven't got a clue. And the glasses? Flea market 1,000 years ago.
While wandering the streets of New York City in March this year, I happened to recognize one of my idols, Bill Cunningham. Renowned for his talent as a street photographer for the New York Times, he is an acclaimed persona within the fashion industry, attending virtually every collection, fall, haute couture, spring, summer, and ready-to-wear. This gentleman has a greater sense of style than some of the models that walk the runways themselves. Ironically, one wouldn't typically recognize Mr. Cunningham, for he blends in with a chaotic crowd of New Yorkers filing from block to block. I kindly introduced myself and informed him of how much I admired his work. He reluctantly told me he wasn't able to do any interviews, considering he was on the job. But I think meeting him was more than sufficient for me.